Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while since I picked up my camera and just filmed something without extensively, here's Bob, extensively researching it and planning it out. I mean, I've been in the middle of the whole Opus Dei deep dive now since May, or even earlier than that. I can't exactly remember when I put out that first video, but I think it was around May. And a lot of things have changed, obviously, since I filmed that first video. We moved, and we are living in a much smaller space. We're full-time RV living now, which is awesome. But there's just been a lot of changes, and with those changes have been adjustments that I've had to make to my channel and the way that I film and the types of videos that I put out. I mean, I committed to doing this Opus Dei deep dive and seeing it through to some type of conclusion, whatever that might be. And at this point in time, I'm not even exactly sure where that is. I feel like I could talk about Opus Dei forever until I have gray hair and am blue in the face because of how complex of a subject it is, but I don't want my channel to be held hostage by that subject. That is not at all my intention, and I feel like maybe that has begun to happen a little bit because it has required an insane amount of energy from me to research and compile all of the information and then present it all in a coherent fashion. The videos are really difficult to film, probably the most difficult videos I've ever had to film, not just because of the heaviness of the topic, but just because I am trying to be so analytical and critical and well thought out in those videos. It's mentally and physically exhausting, and I think the biggest issue that I have been facing here recently is the fact that I just don't have a place to film, really. Not like I did when we had the house, where I had a room where I could kind of have a corner of it always a little bit set up. It's not that easy here, and I kind of have a place where I can sit. I mean, this is where I've sat to do my last few videos since we've been living here. But the problem is I have to turn the air conditioner off to do that. It's high summer here in Texas, and we're basically living in a tin box. So the second you do that, it starts to heat up in here. So I have to film in the earlier part of the day, so the lighting isn't as good as it would be, and it takes me forever because of how difficult these videos are to formulate my thoughts and film them. It takes me way longer to film the Opus Dei videos than it does to film any other type of video. And that is just incredibly frustrating to me. And there's time constraints, there's weather constraints. I have animals that are constantly vying for my attention. I have one here right now. I took the dogs outside because they were just like going crazy, needing to get some energy out, and so I took them outside. But I had been trying to film part 5 earlier, and I talked myself hoarse trying to just get the words out and present the information in what I feel is an intelligent fashion. And I'm a perfectionist. I've talked about this before. I have a very high standard for the kind of content that I want to push out, and I'm constantly pushing myself to make that better, to raise the degree of professionalism or quality for my channel. I want to continue to improve, which is good. I think you should be doing that. You should want to improve in anything that you're doing. But for this particular endeavor, it has been just really difficult, and I am feeling it a little bit right now. I have been feeling it. I haven't put out a video since, it's been like 2.5 weeks since I put out a video. And that sucks to me because my whole focus has been on this Opus Dei thing. And this Opus Dei thing is so exhausting because of how huge it is, inevitably going to take all of my attention and focus, and so I don't have any attention and focus left to do other types of content on this channel. And that just kind of circles back to the whole being held hostage by this subject, which is not what I wanted to have happen. And I guess I just kind of need to vent a little bit right now and pick up my camera and just talk naturally. Just let the words come and talk naturally, because I feel like I have been in such a creative rut, and I feel like I just don't know where to take this thing, how to get it to a conclusion. I think it's a worthwhile topic to discuss, but I just don't want it to run my life here on this channel. and it definitely feels like it has been. Right now, there are a few things that I am very, very sure of. The first, and probably the biggest, is that I know that I want to end my Opus Dei deep dive series sooner rather than later. And I would like to do that within the next couple of videos if I possibly can, but I want to end it sooner rather than later, and I would like to end it before school starts. And at that point, we're definitely coming down to the wire because school starts on the 24th, and it's, what, the 13th, 14th, something like that? So we're definitely getting closer and closer, which means I'm running out of time, which like creates pressure and anxiety in me to hurry up and get it done. But that's the biggest thing. I want to wrap this up. The second is that I need to figure out how to film in this space with the restrictions that I have. Like the fact that I can't have the air conditioner off for very long because it gets so incredibly hot in here. But if I try to film with the air conditioner on, it sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel. Just that kind of thing. That's really the biggest thing. And I suppose that'll probably get easier as the seasons go on and we get closer and closer into cooler weather. But I mean, it's Texas, that's still a long ways off. But getting around the filming restrictions and figuring all that out is the second. The third is to figure out how to relax and have fun filming again. That has always been my whole point in doing videos, is because it's been interesting or compelling or fun for me to do it. I've never been doing it for anybody else. Definitely not doing it for the money because I'm not making any money. So if I don't have those reasons to film, I'm not going to film. And I haven't had those reasons here recently, and I need to get back to that. I need to find the fun and the inspiration in all of this again. And that leads me into my fourth point, which is to come up with new ideas for content. And then I'm not even necessarily talking about like off-the-wall ideas. I'm talking about just getting back to the type of content that I used to do with the vlogs and the topical videos before all of this stuff with Opus Dei began. I really, really want to get back to that. And I think those four things are what are weighing most heavily on me right now. And I just got done filming that video and I'm not happy with it. I'm definitely going to have to refilm it because it's trash and it's not what I want to put out. I mean, you might see it and you would think, well, it's totally fine. Like, what are you worried about? Once you get through editing it and everything, it'll be fine. Not for me though, because of my perfectionism or just because I want to put out good content. I want the things that I create to be of value to me, because ultimately I am doing this for myself, so I have to figure out how to get back to that. And I'm gonna have to refilm that video, and I was just sitting outside feeling frustrated, and I was like, you know what? Let me just talk about this. Let me pick up my camera and address all of this. I feel like we all get in situations where things kind of get away from us a little bit and we have to kind of come back to square one, and I definitely think that I'm at a point where I need to come back to square one a little bit. So I don't know, I think my style is going to have to change because of where I'm at. I don't know exactly how that is going to manifest. I have some ideas, but I think it's going to have to happen pretty quickly because I can't keep doing what I'm doing. It's just not working. I'm definitely the kind of person that performs a little bit better when there is less pressure to fit into a certain type of mold, and I can be a little bit more off the cuff. And as much as it's nice to have like a regular place to film and everything else, with the circumstances that I'm in and the fact that that's not really all that easy, I think I'm going to have to adjust some things because my environment has changed. I'm going to have to change, and that is going to take some figuring out, but I've got to do it quickly because, like I said, I want to wrap things up in the current series that I'm in so that I can continue on to doing what I would like to be doing. So I don't know what this accomplishes other than the fact that I just thought that I would share where I'm at. This whole experience has given me massive, massive respect for people whose entire channels are devoted to just doing analytical, research-driven deep dive series. I could not do it on a consistent basis. It's a lot like being in school and constantly having to research and cram for that next test, except that the next test is only a week away and your time constraints are just insane. I don't know how people do it. I have a ton of respect for them, but it's definitely not for me. Just some thoughts that I've been bouncing around in my head that I thought that I would share. If you have any words of wisdom, I would sure love to hear them, because I'm definitely feeling it all a little bit right now. And I know that it'll be okay, and I'll figure it all out, but I just thought that I would put all that out there, kind of give a little bit of an update and share where my head is at as a creator and then also as a human being, just trying to figure everything out. That is it, I guess. Life is really, really, really good, and I'm in a really happy place. Despite the tone of this video, despite the frustrations with YouTube, I'm in a really happy place, and I want to be able to share that, more of that than anything else. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. Thanks all you guys for being here. I've gained a lot more people here recently. I've made some friends. I've gotten the opportunity to speak to some really interesting people from all around the world, so that's pretty cool. But I hear Apollo barking, and that can only mean one of two things. He's either chasing a car or harassing somebody that's trying to walk their dog. So I need to go figure out what he's up to and make sure he's not getting into something he shouldn't. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned, all that good stuff, and I hope I'll see you guys soon.